3 ways to give yourself a raise right now. Let's be real, everyone's down to have some extra money.
I like money.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that they're leaving money on the table by passing up these 3 opportunities. My name is Mark Palmer.
Oh, hi, Mark.
And I'm going to explain these 3 methods to make more money in your life or free up more money within your life. Real quick, a little about me. I'm an ex-financial professional.
Oh, good for you.
Here to help you build wealth. It's a passion of mine, and I'm doing it through YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me on social media at Mark P. Wealth. If you enjoy content like this, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. Also, as a fair warning, this is not financial advice. It's purely financial education. If you want advice that's specific to your situation, reach out to a financial advisor. Also, if you like free money, you can use my M1 Finance referral link below this video to get a free $50 deposit into your account when you deposit $100. This promotion does expire soon, so take advantage while you can. All right, let's get into the 3 methods for giving yourself a raise today.
Help me, I'm poor.
The first method is to check if your employer offers a 401k or 403b match. Most employers offer some sort of retirement contribution plan or ways for you to deposit directly from your paycheck into a retirement account that they help you set up. But not every employer offers an employer match into that account. Many do though, and a lot of people don't realize it, and they don't realize that this is an easy way to get extra money out of your employer and into your hands and to help you save for retirement. If your employer does offer a match on retirement contributions, this is an easy way for you to give yourself a raise, and the way it usually works is they will tell you that they'll match up to a certain percentage of your contributions into a retirement account. So let's say you are contributing 5% of your paycheck into your 401k, and your employer says, we will do a dollar for dollar match up to 5%. That means if you're contributing 5%, they're also going to contribute an additional 5%, and then you're basically getting 10% of your paycheck deposited into your retirement account, but only 5% of it is being taken out of your paycheck. The other 5% is coming directly from your employer. It's money that you would not be getting in any such way unless you were receiving the match, which you are because you're depositing 5% and they're matching up to that amount. So you're maxing out the amount that they're willing to match for you. That was kind of a lot, so let's go through another quick example. Let's say your employer says that they're willing to match up to 8% of your contributions into your 401k, but you're only depositing 4% right now into your 401k. Then your employer is going to also deposit 4%, so technically you're having 8% of your check deposited into your 401k, but you're not maxing out the total amount that could be matched because they're willing to match up to 8%. So if you were to raise your 401k contributions to 8% instead of 4%, then your employer will also raise their match to 8% because that's how much they're willing to match. And in that instance, you would have 16% of your paycheck being deposited into your 401k, but only 8% taken out of your paycheck. The other 8% is coming directly from your employer. Going off that same example, let's say you raise your contribution amount to 10%, while your employer is only willing to match up to 8%. So they will still match that 8%, and you'll be depositing 10%. You'll have 18% of your paycheck going into your 401k, and 10% of it is all that's actually taken out of your paycheck. The rest is deposited into your bank account or wherever you have it go. And your employer is still going to deposit that 8% match because that's the maximum amount they're willing to deposit, and you are contributing at least that 8%, so they're going to match that. So look into if your employer does offer a 401k or 403b match, and if they do, see how it works because they all operate a little bit differently. Not all of them are dollar for dollar like the examples I was giving. Some are like 50 cents for every dollar where they'll match up to a certain percentage, but they're only going to give you 50 cents for every dollar that you contribute. So for example, if you're contributing 6%, they're willing to contribute 3% in that instance if that's the maximum amount they'll match. So it's worth looking into, and someone at your employer would be able to explain more clearly your specific situation and your specific options for your 401k or 403b match. Moving on, let's talk about the second way to give yourself a raise right now, and that is to create a budget. If you don't have a budget, you don't know how every single dollar of yours is being spent or saved or where it is exactly. If you do have a budget, you can account for every single dollar of your income, of your savings, of your expenses, and know where all of your dollars are at any given time. Now, this is important, and this can give you a raise essentially, because you'll discover money that you didn't realize you had, and you'll also discover money that you didn't realize you were wasting. When my fiance and I first started our budget, we discovered over $100 each month that we had no idea what was happening to it. So this was over $100 that just kind of existed, but we weren't using it in any way. We weren't saving it in any way either. It just must have been being wasted, and we had no idea that it existed. We just didn't account for it. So creating the budget exposed that, and we now had this extra $100 that we could budget out and put towards certain expenses that we knew we would have, or certain savings that we wanted to have. You might be thinking, oh, well, you still had the money, so you're not really giving yourself a raise by creating a budget, which in part is true, but at the same time, it feels like you're getting a raise, and it feels like you are able to spend or save more money when you create a budget because you become intentional with every single dollar. And like I said, when my fiance and I discovered we had over $100 extra each month that we didn't know about before, we were able to put that more intentionally towards certain budget categories, like certain savings. We're saving for a wedding. All of a sudden we had more money that we could save each month for the wedding. Or we could put a little bit of it towards an extra meal that we can dine out in that month. So all of a sudden we felt like we had more money to use, and we didn't miss whatever we were spending on before with that extra $100, and we certainly hadn't been saving towards anything useful with it. So this did feel like a raise to us, and I think truthfully it should be considered a raise when you discover money like this. And creating a budget is pretty easy. All you have to do is total up all of your income for a month and then start subtracting how much you want to save into certain savings categories or invest, and start subtracting that from your income. Subtract your fixed expenses like rent or mortgage or your car payment or insurance. Whatever's left over after all your expenses and savings, that is your variable expense amount. That's how much you can spend on variable expenses such as dining out, groceries, fun, entertainment, whatever it is that you like to do that fluctuates and that you do have control over each month. That's your budget. You can kind of ration it out however you would like. My fiance and I modify ours every couple months because our lives change and we have to adapt to that. So does our budget. This is a very easy way for us to keep track of all of our dollars and for us to maximize how each dollar is used. The third and final way in this video to give yourself a raise is to start a side hustle. It's really never been easier to start making extra money. You can even do it by just picking up your phone these days. If you were to Google side hustle or side income, anything like that, you would find a ton of ideas. Some would be things in your area that you can get up and go do. A lot of them would be things that you could just do with an internet connection. Some of my favorite things that I've done in the past that I think were super easy were grocery delivery and pet sitting. There's also dog walking, which is one that I would really enjoy. It was part of my pet sitting, but it's something that you can just do by itself too. And there are certain people who make a full-time living off dog walking. Not saying that's something that's super easy to do. You probably have to live in a very specific neighborhood and have very good connections. But just saying, it is possible to develop beyond even a side hustle. My favorite side hustles are the ones that you can turn on and off like a light switch. So when you want to work, you can go work. When you don't want to work, you don't have to work. Obviously, your income is going to be dependent on working more, but if it's a side hustle, hopefully you have a full-time or more base income, and your side hustle is just extra bonus. It's your raise, like we're talking about in this video. Obviously, you can go and get yourself a part-time job of some sort at, the local convenience store or the gym, whatever it may be, and that requires you to physically be there, and they probably are going to give you specific hours to be working, which is completely fine. It's a great structured way to have a side income, So therefore, it does count as a side hustle. Side hustles are even more popular these days because a lot of people are working remotely or working from home, and it just frees up a lot of extra time for them to go work on a side hustle. Some people even are able to do both at the same time. So if that is you, if you do have the opportunity to work from home, you should have some extra time since you don't have to commute to work each day. Use that extra time productively. One way to do that is to have a side hustle and make that extra money. That's all we've got for today's video. Let's recap real quick. 3 easy ways to give yourself a raise right now. First is to receive an employer 401k or 403b match. Second is to create a budget and discover money that you've either been wasting or didn't realize you had. And third is to start a side hustle and bring in that extra income. If you enjoyed this content, I'd really appreciate you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. It motivates me to keep creating more content like this. Also, if you want to see other types of content from me, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at MarkPWealth. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time.